Okay, I think we are live here on what is it? April 7th. Just waiting for some people to join. Let me see how all the levels are. Okay. We'll give it a couple of minutes and then we'll get going here. Let's see. I'm keeping my eye on the chat screen. Just turned the top of the hour. Hey, Todd, morning. Thanks for joining. Todd, I'm going to use you as the test pilot for the time being, if you don't mind. Hey, JP, is the audio okay in the video so far? Does it look fairly acceptable? Hey, Rick, welcome. Thanks for joining from Quebec City. Thanks, JP. We'll get going momentarily. I'm just going to wait another couple of seconds to see if anyone else joins. Okay, thanks, Todd. Appreciate it. Hey, Rob, morning. Thanks for joining. Great, Rick. Thank you. Okay, yeah, we'll get going. In the interest of time for everybody, I know this is probably not the most convenient time. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to pick one that I'm available. I know I'm knowingly available. Let me get this out of the way so you can see the background there. Chuck, thanks for joining. Good morning. So the big news before we get going is this eclipse. Hey, Gray Ghost and Birdman, welcome. The eclipse upon us, right? This is the first solar eclipse that will be passing through North America since, I guess, about 7 years now, 7 years ago, which was 2017. And the next one is going to be sometime in 2044. So it's somewhat of an event, right? And man, I've been trying to get these glasses, and as always, I'm always late to the dance. And I think they're all gone. Forget about the free glasses. The ones that you can purchase aren't around. So in my neck of the woods here in New York, it's slim pickings to find these things. So I guess I'm not going to take a look at this eclipse unless I can find something later in the day. Chuck, thanks for joining. Mike, thanks for joining. Birdman, thanks for joining. So that's the big news is the solar eclipse upon us, and we'll see what that turns out to be. But what I want to talk about today on the show, and we can hopefully get some comments if you guys have got one yet or whatever, is this guy right here. And this is the Squire debut. And again, I came across this by accident. As I always do, I always peruse Amazon. And this thing jumped out the day I saw it, which was on April 2nd. I guess this was released on April 1st. Officially released on Amazon on April 1st. So I wasn't sure if it was an April Fool's joke or whatever, but I never heard of the debut, and I'm not sure if this is something that Amazon is calling it, and it's a promotional deal between Amazon and Squire and Fender Squire. But as always, I was very tempted. I figured, let me just be the one to buy it and try it out. And if I don't like it, it's Amazon, right? You always have the opportunity to return something there with relatively few headaches involved. So I took a chance. I bought it. And I'm very glad that I bought this guitar. And again, it's not a Fender, it's a Squire. But you know what, guys? No shaming for Squires. There are quite a few guitarists out there, prominent guitar players, that actually choose to play Squires over Fenders. And a couple of them are, one that comes to mind is Mike Rutherford, right? With Genesis. He has played a Squire model guitar, amongst other guitars, for years. Then you've got Jack Pearson, little lesser known, but a great, great guitar player nonetheless. He's played with the Allman Brothers. He's a session guy, plays with a lot of different bands, typically country rock, blues type styles, but he exclusively plays Squire Strat style guitars. That's all he plays. And he absolutely adores them. I've seen many interviews with him, and he chooses to play them. Jeff Healy, yes, that was the next one I was going to mention. Birdman, spot on. Jeff Healy, who was the blind guitar player that, kind of played the guitar like this on his lap. Incredible guitar player, blues, pop rock, you name it, fusion. Jeff played a Squire exclusively, pretty much. And John Mayall, who a lot of the older guys like myself probably know him from the Blues Breakers, played with Clapton and a lot of top-notch blues guitar players. He's been known to play Squires. So these guitars, not this particular model, but Squire Bullets and Affinities and certainly classic vibes and the old standards and deluxes have been played amongst a lot of the prominent guitar players. So yeah, it's not a guitar that you should be embarrassed about. Quite popular. So let's see if I'm missing anything here. So Mike, you're saying yours is coming in Monday. You ordered the Sunburst. That was one that I was originally going to pull the plug on, was the Sunburst, because I typically like burst guitars. But I've had so many that I said, okay, let me just try the Dakota Red just to be a little bit different. And that's the one I went with. Chuck, you're in Burlington. Hopefully the weather's doing well in North Carolina. I know earlier in the week, I think it was West Virginia. I have a relative that lives in West Virginia, showed me pictures. They had snow, crazy weather, right? Here in New York, no snow. West Virginia, snow. Hard to figure out. How's the intonation? I watched another guy do a video. The intonation was way off. Okay, so the intonation seems to be okay. It's not perfect. I found that the B string is off a bit. Nothing terrible, and the D string, but it can be adjusted, obviously. So it's the least of my worries for a guitar in this price point. But yeah, the intonation's a tad bit off, but not bad. Actually, I've had a lot of more expensive guitars that came in a lot worse shape than this thing. Really, from a setup standpoint, out of the box, I got nothing to complain about. They really did a nice job with this guitar. The action is really, really nice. It's comfortable to play. No complaints. The fret ends on this guitar are great. And I think I mentioned this in one of the earlier videos, but I think it has to do with the fact that it's a brand new model and that it hasn't been sitting around the warehouse for a long time, where you've had, extreme temperature changes and warpage and fret sprout and all that other happy crap. So these frets are beautiful. Really nice up and down. This would pass Know Your Gear, Phil McKnight's stocking test, I think. Yeah, good frets. Jimmy Z, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining. Symphonochrome, thanks for joining. I'm seeing if I missed anybody. Riley Records, thank you for joining. Sean, thanks again. I think I got most people. Gray Ghost, Casey Lee, Brian. So what am I missing here? Let me just check here. How is it compared to the Squire 40? You know what? The Squire 40th matte finish that I had, which was a burst, which was a two-tone sunburst. First of all, from a coloring standpoint, I wasn't really crazy about it because it was too dark in my opinion. It didn't jump at all. I didn't like the burst coloring, and also the finish on the guitar had a little it wasn't completely smooth. It had like almost those little bumps that you get sometimes in the matte finishing on the guitar. This guitar, in my opinion, was finished better than the 40th anniversary Squire edition Strat that I had. Very smooth. Paint job is great. No blems, no issues, no neck pocket cracks, which you find on almost all the Strats. This thing came void, no neck pocket cracks at all. Nice tight pocket where you can't slip an index card in. Really finished, very, very nicely for a guitar in this price range. I mean, again, guys, I've had a ton of bullets. I've had a few, not a ton, but a few of the Sonic series. I've had a boatload of affinities. And this guitar, in my opinion, there's no reason at all to spend the money that affinities and Sonics are right now. Sonics are, I think, 199 is the going street rate. Sometimes they're even up to 220, I think. The affinities are like if you get a one with a a fancy top, you're going to pay $299. If you get a normal affinity, they're about $249.99. This guitar at $119 on Amazon, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. And guys, let's think about, okay, how does it compare to the Bullfighter and Indio? Todd's asking. All right, so I'm just going to go over this now. So guys, I bought a boatload of guitars. I buy, I sell, I buy, I sell, I buy, I trade, whatever the case is, right? Let's talk about the guitars that are kind of in this class. So you've got the Gear It or Gear ITs on Amazon, anywhere from $98, depending upon what kind of sale you get, to $110, $109, dollars and change. You've got Firefly, sold through Guitar Gardens, right? Not on Amazon, sold through their own site now. They're up a little bit because you have to pay almost $30 in shipping for the guitar, $27, whatever. Those are usually between $119.99 and $149.99 in terms of I'm going apples to apples, the Strat style guitars, right? Maybe a little different config. Maybe some have HSS, some have three singles, but I'm going with this body style. Licks Pro, right? A lot of you guys know Licks Pro. $99.99 typically, sometimes a little bit more, but they're usually about $100 on Amazon. Grote or Grote, I've been corrected a couple of times, right? Same thing. They have some Strats, if you get them on sale, they're $99.99. I haven't seen that for a while. Their prices seem to have gone up. Now they're about $149. Ashthorpe, if I'm pronouncing that one right, about $104.99 on average. Monoprice, we all know those guys, about $109.99 on Amazon. You can get those in the $80 range if you get them on sale. The Indios on a good sale on Monoprice or through Amazon. Tees guitars, I've showed you the Tees, and we've discussed those guitars. They're typically anywhere from $129.99 to $170, depending upon the model, the ST1, ST2, and what is in the guitars. The Squire Sonics, right, that have been out for a while, that, is what grew from the Bullet line to the Sonic line. Those are $199.99 is the street price. Bullfighter, you mentioned, Jimmy. Those are about $109.99 if you get them with the coupon. Sometimes you can get them down to $89, $80 for a Strat style guitar. Leo James, right? Same thing, starting around $119.99 Strat style up to about $139.99, depending upon the coupons available. eArt, about $200 roughly for the starting point for their Strats, $215. Fogill is another brand on Amazon, Fojill. Those are anywhere from $94.99 up to about $129.99. Pile, same thing, $129.99. So I've got Fesley about $149.99. If you get a coupon, $119.99. So I just went through a ton of guitars, right? And this guy is $119, right? So it's right there, or a little bit less. And guys, I'm loving it. And I typically don't make a big deal of these guitars. And again, you know me, it's not sponsored. I buy this on my own dime. Squire's not, gifting these to me or sending them to me. I absolutely love this guitar. And the fact that it has a reputable company behind it, and if I decide to, trade this at some later point or sell it, I'm going to get something back for it, as opposed to some of these other brands that, they're great guitars. They feel well, they play well, but, you get nothing for them in resale because they're not a known entity. They're not a name brand. Now, The other flip side to it on the side of the other guitars is it's going to be real hard for Squire, even with this model, to compete because they can't give gig bags. They can't give electronic tuners. They can't give extra strings. They can't give a nice, cable. They can't give whatever the other companies give as freebies with their guitar. My only complaint is Squire should somehow come to the point where they're throwing in even a dust cover, some sort of a gig bag to ship with the guitar. That would be perfect. But in lieu of that, this thing is really, really hard to beat. The finishing outside of the box is perfect. I love the neck. It doesn't have a skunk stripe, right, where you have on the Sonic. The main difference between this and the Sonic, real quick, skunk stripe on the Sonic, right? Gloss finish on the body on the Sonic. And the headstock is a little bit different. You have black lettering, solid black lettering, where this is an outline. But other than that, the only difference really is the fact that this has matte finish. It's not a hardtail. The Sonic is also a hardtail. This comes with a tremolo bar and the headstock lettering. That's it. Guitars are identical. The pickups I love. I have no issues with them. They're ceramics. They're inexpensive. These guitars are made in China. The Sonics are made in Indonesia, right? I don't know the factory where this thing is made. It's a new serial. It's CM. What is it? CMCA. I don't know where that is. It's not Samick, and it's not Court. It's another factory. So we'll find that out as time goes by. Let's see. I'm sorry I'm ignoring. I'm missing this stuff. It's 25 and a half inch scale, Torsten. Rob Rowley, Casey, hello. 40th anniversary, guys. Take a second, hit the like and help Joe out. Oh, thank you so much, Sports Dog. I appreciate that. 11 holes in the pick guard. Okay, let me see if there are 11 holes in the pick guard. 2, 3. More than 11 holes, that's for sure. I stopped counting, but it's greater than 11 holes in the pick guard. I'm not sure if this is an Apple's one-to-one mapping of a standard Fender. It's probably not. I read somewhere in a forum that the pick guard isn't lined up the exact same and everything. So you're going to get little things like that. But I haven't opened it up to look at the cavity to see if this is routed for a humbucker. So I really don't know. You're gonna have to get to, maybe as this thing goes on over time, the guys that really delve into the innards of the guitar and they open it up and they check it out. And I don't do that because if I ever did something with my butchered hands, I wouldn't be able to get this guitar to resemble what it looks like in the first place. But okay, let's see. Yeah, brand new since April 1st. That's when these were announced. Plus parts fitment on Squires is great. What about the tuners? Tuners, Casey, are great. Tuners on this guitar are amongst the best I've tried on budget end guitars. They are really solid. They feel solid. They don't have a lot of play in them. They have screws on the top that you can adjust and tighten. They apparently, I don't know what they're using. I don't know what the gear ratio is, but again, they're really, really solid, entry-level tuners with sealed, the sealed backs on them. Really good. I mean, I've had Bullets. The tuners have been crap on some of them. It might have just been my bad luck. I've had Sonics not as tight as this. Again, for a lower cost point, these tuners are real good on the guitar. Thickness of the body, Jimmy, it looks thinner to me, but again, I'm not 100% sure. I think I read somewhere that it is slightly thinner. I'm not sure if it's like the old Affinities, in terms of body thickness. But it's a comfortable guitar. This thing weighs probably anywhere between 8 and 8.5 pounds, I would guess. I would say on the lighter side of 8.5. It's probably more closer to 8 pounds. It's not a heavy guitar. And again, it's poplar wood. No, Todd, I don't know. I got a shout out. I didn't even know I was known on another channel, but that's nice to hear. How are the fingerboard edges? The fingerboard edges are great. Like I said, these frets are fantastic. It almost appears like they're slightly rolled, which is very interesting on a guitar at this price point. Really, really nice. You know, they're not rounded fret ends by any stretch, but they're really, really nicely finished. You know, somebody took some attention to detail on getting these frets attended to before they ship this thing out, which is nice. You've had great luck with Squires, Jimmy. My biggest complaint would be fret sprout. Yep, that's an easy fix with some filing. Yeah, I mean most of the lower ends, especially lower end Bullet, Sonic series, even Affinities, came with some sharp fret ends. In fact, I think I told you guys I bought a Fender Player series made in Mexico. Horrible. Had a lot of sprout. So I'm really impressed with this $119 guitar with the shape that these frets came delivered in. I did a review of the Squire and said, "You're here on my channel." Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Let's see what we got here. How are the fingerboard edges? Again, the fingerboard edges, Denny, are smooth. They're nice. The neck has a slight bit of girth, but not a lot. I would say this thing is maybe slightly thicker, the profile of the C, than the Affinity, which happens to have a very thin neck. The Bullets, in my opinion, are a little bit thicker than the Affinities. Some may disagree, but this has a slightly fuller feel to it. I actually love the feel of this neck because it's far from thick and far from thin. It's right where it should be. It's very comfortable to play. I think it's missing from a cosmetic standpoint what Fender is known for on a lot of their guitars, which the skunk stripe. Again, it has no functional place since this is a rosewood fretboard. It's not a single, piece maple neck where they put those skunk stripes in from a neck adjustment standpoint. But I like the way they look on the back of the neck. This just looks to me like it's missing something. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but it's a 24 build, obviously. And the serial number on here, the last three numbers are 666. So I'm calling this guy the Red Devil. That's my nickname for the guitar. Surf Green Telecaster came with terrible fret spout, fixed it in 5. Yeah, with a sponge. Yeah, that's what I use. Blue Wing, I don't like skunk stripe. Yeah, that's why I said it's a personal thing. Buddy, I mean, a lot of people don't like skunk stripes, and I get it. I'm just an old timer. I kind of like the way they look. Brown Sharpie will fix the skunk stripe issue. Yeah, except that with my eyesight, it might not be a straight line. But yeah, I can fix it. Am I going to keep it? Yeah, I think I have every intention to keep it. 2 reasons. I never had a guitar ever that I bought where it just came out. It was just released to the market. So I don't know, because it's got an early serial number, on this guitar, if it'll be worth anything over time. Who the hell knows? Probably not at this price point. But I really like the guitar, and the price I paid is crazy. So yes, I'm going to keep this one. I'm definitely going to keep it. It just feels right. Hey Ken, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Red Devil, you like that, Todd? Is the tone pot linked with the bridge pickup? Yes, from what I've tested so far. What else do we have here? I've always liked to know about the pick guards too, because I'm constantly changing that stuff out. Yeah, Jimmy, I think on the pick guard here, you may, if you're changing it out and you're trying to do swap 1-for-1 with a Fender, you might have an issue with the alignment of the screws. But I would say check out Squire Talk, the forum. They have a lot of gearheads on there, and I think they're talking about that on one of their forums discussing this guitar. Not to get off topic much, but have you tried the Grote Les Paul Special clone? I have not, Birdman. I haven't tried that one yet. Sweet unit. I have one that I put better pups in. Okay. Yeah, I've had a couple of older Grotes that I've absolutely loved. Jace Allen said the body was 1.5 inches thick. Full thickness is about 1 3/4. Yeah, so it's a little bit thinner, Todd. And that's what it looks like to my eyes. But again, it's a comfortable body. And for me, being the fantastic player that I am, that needs perfection and is always modding things, I don't care, right? This body's fine. I'm not going to do anything with it. It's going to stay exactly like it is. Torsten says, what are your thoughts on Fender putting up 119 online only guitar is going to do to distributors of Fender products trying to sell a similar guitar for 200? It's going to put a big dent in their business, I think, Torsten. Once people start getting a hold of something like this, this is Fender's direct, I think, response or attempt at competing with the guys that have been eating their lunch on Amazon selling, $99 or $100 guitars. Because now we've got a price point that's similar to that price point, if not lower in some cases, maybe slightly higher in others, with a guitar that competes phenomenally well. I mean, you're getting a brand name on the headstock, and you're getting a guitar that's wonderful in terms of finishing, the way it sounds, playability, the whole bit. How do you compare to Fesley and Fireflies at the same price point, Denny? Again, I've never had a Fesley. I've never bought one. I don't like the HSS configuration on the guitar. I'm just not crazy about some of the things cosmetically about that instrument. So I can't give you my assessment on Fesley. I've read mixed things about the product. Some people love them. Other people have issues. You brought it up on the last live show that we had where the other YouTuber that does the assessments of guitars, and he does all sorts of modding to guitars, and his name escapes me at the moment. Something Grind Your Gear or something like that. He had big issues with the last one that he bought. Love the satin red. Gonna order soon. Yeah, I just like the way this guitar really looks. I have always liked Dakota Red. And something about this matte finish. I was never a big matte finish guy because my personal opinion was the oils on your hands sometimes leave marks and stains. That's the other thing. For some stupid reason, maybe it's this color. When I had the 40th anniversary Squire, I had a big problem with the two-tone sunburst and all sorts of blemishes and oil marks from holding the guitar and playing the guitar. I don't have any on this thing. It's really amazing. I'm not sure if they treated it differently or it's because of the color, but I don't get any of those, funky finger marks on the guitar, which is nice. I think Fender is what they need to do, Jimmy, is in modern America, they realize they need an offering to compete. Yep. Satin finish makes it look like a Fender Highway 1 Strat. I dig the full thickness body. Yeah, I get it. The tone. Someone mentioned debut only a new model in the U.S. Rob, I think it's in the U.K. too, because someone on a forum mentioned that and showed up an Amazon website from the U.K. that had this guitar. So I think these are released in the U.K. as well, not U.S. only. Okay, Chuck, if you're interested in the warehouse clearance, I saw something that said it was good until April 7th. What Chuck's talking about, guys, for those of you that want a little bit more info, Musician's Friend has been discounting their open box, their warehouse open box gear, 10%, additional 10%. So if you see something that you like, you can really get some good savings by applying the extra 10% for your open boxes. I think that goes away the end of business today, but maybe not. Maybe they're extending it. And, between that and the fact that you may have some rewards points in your, stashed away, you can really get some good savings on a guitar at Musician's Friend if you apply both of those, the 10% off on the open box and your rewards points. Scar My Guitar, great channel, Todd. Yes, that's the one I'm thinking about. And the Scar My Guitar guy, who does some really nice stuff with guitars, he had a Fesley and didn't have a tremendously good experience with one recently. Want one of those though. Love that satin red. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Commerce. Yeah. You're saying, Chuck, that you think the majority of manufacturers are focused on online commerce now. Well, I mean, a good example of it is Sam Ash, right? Sam Ash is shutting down 18. They just shut down about 18 brick and mortar stores, and they're going to basically transition to an online shop at some point. They have a couple of more stores still open, but I think it's a matter of time before those shut down too. It's really sad. But online is taking over. Did they release a Mustang debut version? From what I've seen, Willie, just the Strat style and Telly style. I haven't seen the Mustang yet, but it might be coming in this debut series. What else? This could be a game changer, blah, blah, blah. Okay. See if I missed anything. So let's talk about this guitar a little bit, and then I'll plug it in and subject you guys to misery by hearing me butchering this thing just to show you what it sounds like. I keep getting people asking me to plug in on these live shows, which I hate doing, but I will do it because you guys mean that much. So the Red Devil, what do we have? So we have a matte finish, right? We have a neck that is as close to raw wood as I've seen in a while. If it does have a finish, it's not noticeable. It looks like and feels like raw wood. So those of you that don't like gloss on the back of the neck, you got it with this guy. It's got a 3-ply pickguard on the guitar, a poplar body with no gloss, right? Mention that again. Indian Laurel fretboard on the guitar, which, because it's new, is not dry. It's a nice feeling Indian Laurel fretboard. The headstock has a different logo that I'm not used to with Squires, which is the Squire logo that is just an outline on the raw wood. It's not yellow. It's not colored in. It's just an outline of Squire, which I kind of like without the black paint. I think it looks classy. Again, that's my own opinion. It comes with a free 3-month Fender Play subscription, which I could probably use. So you get 3 months of free lessons also from Fender with the purchase of this guitar at $119. So that's something they're throwing in, I guess. I would remove that and throw in a gig bag, personally. That's my take, but whatever. 9.5-inch radius, C-shaped neck, sealed tuners. Comes with a 2-year warranty. That's what Fender Squire is doing now on their guitars. So that's another differentiator from the cheapos that are on the market. This comes with a 2-year warranty, which is kind of cool. So the 2-year warranty and the free 3-month subscription of Fender Play is what Squire is throwing in when you purchase this guitar. The tremolo is your typical, 6-screw tremolo on the guitar. It is flush to the body. So if you want this to be a floating tremolo, you're going to have to take this off and play around with the springs, because right now it's locked down. So it's almost like a hardtail, which again is fine for me because I don't use it. 21 frets. These appear to be medium, maybe medium jumbo frets. On the Sonic style guitar, they have narrow, tall frets. So that's another thing that's a little bit different with this guitar. Plastic nut, but the nut is cut very well, and it's not high or anything. It's done right on this guitar. What else? Ceramic pickups, obviously. 3 single coil ceramic pickups, 1 volume, 2 tone, 5-way switch. Now the switch on this guitar is insanely good, right? Most of these are very wobbly, very loose, a lot of play. This thing is more solid fielding than my Made in Mexico, if you can believe it. It's really, really a nice switch, 5-way on this guitar, which is crazy. What else? I mentioned the fact that it was set up nicely out of the box, smooth frets, string height, right, spot on. Really, really happy with it, guys. That's my overall assessment. I can't be happier with this guitar. And real quick, again, the difference, $119, Sonic $199.99. The Sonic has a gloss finish. This has a matte finish. The Sonic is made in Indonesia. This is made in China. The Sonic is hardtail, no tremolo. This has a tremolo system, if that's something you're interested in. The Sonic has a skunk stripe. This does not come with a skunk stripe. The Sonic has narrow, tall frets. This has medium jumbo frets. Those are the only differences that I could think of between this and a Sonic. and you're saving $80 with this model. No brainer as far as I'm concerned. I think Fender is competing with themselves, Squire, on that one. How are the stock strings? They're stock strings. They're okay. You know, they're new still because the guitar is new, but so they haven't been laying around long. But they're okay. You know, they'll be changed at some point. How are the stock strings? What else? What else? Could you check the tone pot when you are on the bridge pickup? Yes, I want one. Okay, I check. Okay, so let me plug this in, and you can hear a little bit of what this thing sounds like. Okay, guys, and hopefully with this butchered configuration, and I have it connected to a Rat distortion box, so you can hear what it sounds like with distortion, and it's coming through a Catalyst 60 amp. Okay. Right now, I have it on the neck pickup, and we'll play it clean for a bit, and then we'll put some distortion on. So in the bridge position, it's very, you know, more so than the Sonic that I tried, very, very chimey, right? For lack of a better way to describe it. I think these are lower output pickups than on the Sonic. I may be wrong. And we'll play around with the tones on each one. You see, the first tone is in the second position. In the third position is also, which is the middle pickup, is also the first tone. And then you've got the middle and the bridge. Middle and the bridge is now the second tone switch. And now finally just the bridge pickup is the second tone. I think one of you asked if what it affected. Let's see here. We'll put some distortion on now. These strings are 10s. That's one thing I can tell right away. Horrible to bend. I think they're supposed to come with 9s. There's no way in hell these are 9s. They have to be 10s. And in answer to your question, the strings suck. Now, I suck, but the strings suck more than I do. How does that sound? Now, let's see what this thing is like. It's out of tune. So you could see 2 reasons, right? Strings suck, as I mentioned before, and also the fact that they're new strings. They're not fully stretched. But it's not the tuners. The tuners, I'll guarantee you, are decent on this guitar. It's more to the fact that the strings are horrible, and I was bending them, and also the fact that they're new. So let's put this back here for a second. I just wanted you to hear what the thing sounds like. I mean, playability-wise, it's really a nice feeling guitar. The weight is right. The neck feels nice. The action out of the box is fine. I don't have any complaints. I've been neglecting the questions here. Yeah, neither of mine, Chuck. They should be, what time is it? 11:42. In about 15 minutes, start kicking in. Once you plug it into your rig. Yeah, the guitar is fine. Yep, I think Joe needs an SM57. I need something. That's a Shure microphone, I guess. Yeah, Don. Mine was not intonated at all. Okay, Joe, here's where they save money on the guitar, the pickups. Yeah, absolutely, Sports Dog. There's no question about it. I mean, these are not top-notch Alnico pickups. They're inexpensive, budget ceramic pickups. And most guitars at this price point have these kind of pickups in them, unfortunately, right? Jace Allen guitar. Yeah, no, okay. I have to check his videos out, Jimmy. Thank you. Let me just see what we missed here. It's not the guitar. Yeah, Mike, it could be the microphone too. I like to blame it on the mic rather than my playing too. You know, it's always the mic's fault. This thing is a piece of. I should, in case YouTube starts. Checking me out. I have to watch what I would be saying here. Love that distortion, Joe. Yeah, sounded a little like the intro. Okay. Anyone says this is sounding good is on. Says this is sounding good is on really good drugs. Well, you know, Don, if you want something that sounds good, I would advise you not to check out me playing the guitar because you're not going to get that. So sorry to disappoint, Don, but you're not going to get anything remotely sounding good here. I'm just giving you my opinion on the gear. Let's see. Joe, here's where they save money on this guitar, blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to see, guys, if I'm missing anything. I have a set of Tex-Mex to put in it. You like my playing, Don? That scares me even more. I'm just kidding, you guys. I'm playing around. The cost difference is, what's Torsten saying? The cost difference is dimes on the pickups when potted or not. Okay. All right, Don, my voice is fine. Good. Yeah, no, this microphone is challenged to begin with, and I get it, and I apologize, but it's what I have to work with, unfortunately. Let's see here. Joe, here's where they say blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's see. All right, so guys, Anything else here that I'm missing? I'm trying to think. I think I covered most of the stuff here. What's going to be interesting is to see if this is a deal that Fender came out with as a promotional deal, or if this is going to be the price point of this guitar. Because sometimes, and they've done it before, Fender, with certain models, they'll come out with a guitar at a very, very low price point, get people to bite off on it, right? And then it'll level off at some price, maybe $129.99, maybe whatever. I'm curious to see if this $119 is going to stick around, and that's going to be the price of this guitar. Also, I'm wondering over time if this will be something where Amazon will be throwing coupons at it. Because imagine this at $119.99 with, 20% off or $30 off or $20 off or whatever, where you get this thing for under $100, which, would be crazy. But you never know. That could happen. Sounds like it's decent in the room, like all budget ceramics, but the satin body is going to, yeah, these pickups are a little bit, and again, the sound system is horrible in here to begin with, but they're a little bit on the thin side, right? Low output, a little bit high frequency in terms of sharpness, pickaxe-ness. So those of you that like more of the muted, vintage, warm, whatever you want to call it, end of things on the pickups, you're not going to get them with these pickups. They're going to be more designed for distortion. That's my personal opinion. Mileage may vary depending upon what guitar you get. You may get one and have a completely different experience. How many Chinese children's hands went into making this thing? Yeah, well, that's another story. Did the bullets used to be $99 a few years back? Yes, Denny. The bullets were $99.99 at Guitar Center. Memorial Day, 4th of July. What else? Those were the big ones that I remember. Memorial Day and 4th of July sales. They used to be $99.99 very frequently. But I'm going back probably a good 5 years. A couple of years before COVID. You'd see them. Hey, Jace Allen, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. You're thin, but I don't think they sound bad. Yeah, no, Jace, and I'm assuming you're a much more adept player than I am, and I'm sure that has an effect and makes a difference. So, people that are playing at home for enjoyment, even probably playing out to some extent at a local place or whatever, no professional gigs. I mean, this guitar is probably more than fine for you to use, especially, if you're throwing some electronics at it, right? And pedals. You can get it to sound really good. Yeah, well, we're having fun, whether we're mediocre pros or novices like myself. The point of it is these things are great just to play around with and take your mind off the stresses of modern day living. That's what I use this for. Instead of taking, a lot of pharmaceuticals, I turn to this thing to distract me. I see you are progressing nicely on the guitar. I'm an intermediate player. Thanks, Don. I appreciate the comment. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm progressing nicely. This used to be very difficult for me to do because of my shoulder. I had issues with my shoulder. Over time, it's a lot easier to do this. So I think I'm progressing to some extent. I like to think I am, but who knows? Okay, let's see. Torsten, hey, I got it. We'll reply later. Definitely. Okay. How does it compare to the guitar packs from Fender? Probably comparable. I mean, typically with Fender, you're going to get bullets included in, or, some lower end for a pack only guitar. I think they called them SEs at one point from Fender. This is probably comparable from a material standpoint, but I'll tell you right now, because it's a new model maybe or whatever, finishing wise, it's better. The paint job on here is better. The neck feels better. It's smoother. The fret ends are better. The tuners are better. Little things on this guitar I think are better than your pack experience from Fender Squire. Let's see. Don't forget to mention 3 months of Fender. Yeah, no, I did, Jace. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. You're spot on. The two things that Fender threw in are the 3-month Fender Play subscription, complimentary, and the 2-year warranty. And that's kind of, and like I said before, I'd like to see them, my personal opinion at least, forego the 3-month subscription if there's any cost associated with it, and just throw in a gig bag, a cheap, dust cover or something. Because the students, the first time players, whatever, they have limited budget, right? Parents buying them something. This thing's going to be trashed in no time if they don't put it in something to keep it from, getting smashed around. Now, I know a dust cover is not going to do much in terms of protection if you're banging it into something, but it'll provide at least something, right? Rather than nothing. So I think an inexpensive gig bag would be a good thing for them to throw in. And then this thing's really competing head on with the the other guys that are out there, the Gear ITs, the Lix Pros, the Glaries that are throwing in. Now, Glary, for example, this thing blows away. There's no comparison. A Glary blows it away. And some of the other models that are out there that you'll find on Amazon, Lix Pro blows it away, right? So there are other things to take into consideration too in terms of playability. Price is one thing, but if the guitar is unplayable, that's a whole nother story. And there are quite a few of them that are out there that are. Let's see here. I haven't heard of 62Z. 62Z pickup, Sean. Not familiar with them. Not familiar with them. I know, a lot of people talk about the GHS, the guitar fetish pickups that they have out there that are fairly inexpensive and supposedly sound really well. A lot of people that mod instruments use them, but I'm not familiar with that one. How is it compared to Donner DST 200? Donner makes a nice guitar. I mean, their price points have gone up lately, but they make a nice guitar. How does it compare? Probably, I'd say they're fairly comparable. Again, if you're deciding to swap out, trade, sell over time and upgrade to something else, you're much better off going with this than a Donner because you're going to get nothing back. You're lucky if you get 40 cents back on $1 when you go to resell your Donner. Probably more like 25 cents. And this, at least you'll get close to what you bought it for back. So thank you, Jace. Much appreciated. Thank you, my friend. That's very kind. Yeah. So that's really, that's really all I could say is I think two things. I think these guitars are going to be set up a little bit better than the no-name brands out of the box, right? The Donners and the Glaries. I think if you go to resell this, in fact, I'm pretty sure based on what I've done, and I've done a lot of it, you're going to get more for your money reselling this guitar because it's got Squire on the headstock. It's a known entity than you are some of the other guys. And I think if you're going to mod it at some point in time, you might find it a little bit easier to do with a known entity again. And also support. If you're looking for any kind of company support, let's say you have a problem with this thing over time and it's past the return policy at Amazon. You could bring it to your local Fender shop. You can have them look at it, and it's 2-year warranty on this thing. So they're obligated, if it's a defect of some sort, to take care of it for you. Whereas with the other companies, it's a complete crapshoot to do that. $26 for a set with free shipping on eBay right now. Is that a set of pickups, Todd? I think you're talking about. I just caught this. Okay, let's see. We in the resale, Joe. No name brands don't hold their value. They have older body Alnico pickups, staggered poles. Yep. Yeah, they're gonna put in higher end stuff, right? They have more to play with. I guess their margins are a little bit better than Fender's, so they can afford to do stuff like that where they'll step it up, maybe throw in some accessories, like you said, put in Alnico pickups versus ceramics, maybe use a better, finishing on the guitar. step up with some smoothed fret ends, whatever the case might be. Yep, you're going to find that. How many colors are available and what does it weigh? Edward, is that towards this guitar? Because this guitar comes in right now, this debut, in 3 colors. It comes in this Dakota Red matte finish. It comes in a black matte finish, and it comes in two-tone sunburst matte finish. And I haven't physically weighed it yet, but based on my experience and the way it feels, it's probably around 8 pounds, 8.2 ounces, 8.2 pounds. That's my guess. Low end of 8. How many colors are available? I ordered one. Let me see here. Yeah, I was on Donner's website, Jace, and they're making a couple of different models that are in the $400 and $500 price range, which now is touching classic vibe territory. So that's going to be a real hard sell, in my opinion, for Donner to compete, because the classic vibes are basically as good as MIMs, as good as Mexican-made Fenders. And now you're, approaching a very, very playable instrument, giggable instrument, known entity with a brand that is not a household name. So that's going to be a hard sell, in my opinion. The gear at Telly jumped up to $100 from 98. Yeah. Wow. What are they throwing in now? Someone to play the guitar for that uplift, or no? I don't buy Donnas because the parts are not compatible with anything else. Yep. It's not easy to mod. Classic vibes are not better than the players. I have a player and I've had classic vibes. Maybe it's my experience, man of the people, but I haven't noticed much difference between a classic vibe and the Player Series guitar, to be honest with you. The Player Series is maybe slightly better. Pickups might be slightly better, but finishing, neck feel, playability, tuners, pots, everything is very comparable. Woods are very comparable as well, especially with the Player Series now are coming out with poplar bodies, which is interesting. Returns are rare. Those, okay. I just weighed mine, 6.5. Wow. Pickups are much better. Yeah, I got mine, Jimmy. My Player Series with the plus top, with the flame top, for I want to say low fives, like $512 on Amazon. It was a warehouse deal, and it was a brand new guitar, spanking new, right out of the box. Box was sealed. That was a great deal on the Player Plus for just over $500. Wish there was a budget hardtail Strat option. So, out of marker, I guess you're saying that you don't like the Sonics from Squire, because that's a hardtail. And yeah, it's not really super low price point anymore. It's $199, but you do see them on sale like $150 every now and then. And you can also probably get one open box for around that price, which is a hardtail. Sonic Squire hardtail. Yep, that's what I was just saying, Denny. We're preaching to the choir. Yep. So, guys, we're approaching the top of the hour. I'm ready to wrap. I appreciate everybody that jumped on the call on the WebEx or the see. You can see where I'm coming from, an old timer, and I'm calling this a WebEx on the live show. And appreciate your input as always. Appreciate your support as always. And yeah, I mean, happy I got this thing. Really think for the price, it's hard to beat. So if you have any other questions, put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Let me just see here what else we got, guys. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Yeah, guys, thank you again for everything. Again, I really appreciate all your support. You guys are definitely the best. And any questions that I missed or whatever, put them in the comments. I'll answer them. And until the next live show, until the next video, until the next anything, be well and stay safe, guys. Thanks again. Have a good day. Bye.